What's up, guys? It's Dave. A day late, hopefully not $1 short, with my team call for tonight. I ran out of time yesterday. We were headed off to a Christmas party at Monica's mom's house, and I didn't have time to get this message out to you guys, so I apologize for that. But we're going to talk about Facebook today, some of the changes that have happened with Facebook, and I think some of the things you can do to avoid getting put in Facebook jail. I think we have a pretty good picture of what it is that they're targeting right now. And so let's get into it. But before I get into the specifics of, the do's and don'ts or, best practices, whatever we want to call it, I want you to really, really listen to me this time when I tell you this message, because I've been telling people this message, and some people haven't listened, other people haven't heard me. Some people have just wanted what I've said not to be true, but we have to accept the fact that things change, okay? Stuff changes. If you're gonna be effective using social media marketing, you have got to be able to shift gears when the time comes, okay? I'll give you an example. When I first started this business, I used Twitter. That's how I got started. Twitter was so great because I was working, at my law firm, and I could be really anonymous on Twitter, and none of them were on Twitter. I didn't know what I was doing, so it was great. It was kind of sneaky and a little anonymous, and it was growing like mad. I mean, it was just taking off, and I found so many people on Twitter. Some of you guys I found on Twitter, and I did that by violating Twitter's terms of service. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I used a program called TweetAdder, and what TweetAdder did was TweetAdder would go and it would say, oh, this person used the word P90X, or I had it set up so it would follow people if they mentioned individual workouts from Insanity, plyo cardio circuit. If they used that term, boom, I followed them. Some of those people followed me back. Some didn't. If they didn't follow me back, TweetAdder was even so smart as to go and unfollow those people after like 3 or 4 days if they hadn't followed me back. Then it was also set up to send out automated messages. So 4 or 5 times a day, whatever it was, it would send out an automated message saying something like, hey, if you want a free sample of Shakeology, click here. And they would go to my website. The last thing, the automated messages, was not a violation of Twitter's terms of service, but the following procedure, total violation of Twitter's terms of service. Everybody knew it, and Twitter knew it. Twitter knew what was going on, and what we all knew was there's gonna come a day when Twitter's gonna pull the plug on this. They're letting it happen now because they're trying to build their presence and how big they are. But once it gets to where they can, go public maybe, they're going to pull the plug on it. It ended up being quite a long time before they went public, actually. But one day, boop, the other thing about TweetAdder that was so great was I had an unlimited license, so I was running accounts like mine for about 45 different people. All these coaches who I was running Twitter accounts for. And it was great. I mean, we were jamming with it. We really were, and it was fantastic. And about 2 years ago, they just said, no more. I mean, we woke up one day and it didn't work anymore. They turned it off. Did I stop being a coach? No. No, because I knew that was going to happen. I had accepted from the get-go, this is going to work like magic for a little while. Why? Because it violates their terms of service. So eventually, they're going to pull the plug on it. Let's come back to Facebook. Facebook's terms of service are real clear that you're not allowed to operate a business through a personal timeline. That doesn't mean we can't do a lot of the things that we do and connect with our people in groups, right? But it does mean that you're not allowed to sell stuff on your timeline. And it's never been allowed. Facebook is now telling us very clearly, hey, remember our terms of service? We haven't enforced this little gray area of our terms of service for a really long time. But we're going to start now. We're going to start. Why? Because Well, I'll tell you why Twitter pulled the plug. Twitter pulled the plug because it was a lot of people started using that, and it was becoming very spammy, and a lot of people were using it in ways that that were really unethical. And the same thing has happened with Facebook, is that I don't think this is a major concern for us. I just don't. I was kind of worked up about it, and I realized I was worked up about it because a lot of the leaders from other teams who I'm friends with were really worked up about it, and they're teaching their people to do things that are violations of Facebook's terms of service, and we're not. So I want to really start with that by just saying that when it comes to this groups thing, and I'm going to talk about specifics about that in just a minute, when it comes to that, I don't think this is a major concern for us. And I know a couple of people who have been, put in Facebook jail, as we call it, but it hasn't happened on a widespread level like it has with a lot of the other teams. And it's because we don't do a lot of the things that those guys are doing. A lot of them have built their businesses exclusively on Facebook. That is just a huge mistake. And again, when I say, I need you to listen to me now, and I need you to hear me now, okay? You cannot put all of your eggs in the Facebook basket. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. And reasons and stuff like this is the reason why. They can arbitrarily change their policies and procedures at any minute, okay? What do? Well, one of the things I have suggested people do, a lot of different things. I'll tell you what I do. I do a lot of different stuff, okay? I have a blog. I have a YouTube presence. I have a Twitter presence still. I have we're on Pinterest. What else do we have? Instagram. Did I forget about Instagram? All these different places. You got to spread yourself out, okay? I know Facebook is easy. Facebook's tempting. You understand it. You know it. It's your buddy. But Mark Zuckerberg has made a decision that it's time to start getting paid for what he has allowed you to do for free. And so this is not the last time that this is going to happen. And it's not the last time that Facebook is going to start to change their policies and procedures. They're going to keep doing it. They want to push you to a like page. They want to push you to advertising. They want anything on Facebook that people see that's commerce to be something that is paid for. The free ride is coming to an end. Okay, I'm not going to say it's over necessarily, but it's coming to an end. And you need to be aware of this. You really need to be aware of this. Some respects, it's a good thing. I think that one of the things that people are missing about this whole deal is that what this means is opportunity. What it means is that the cream will rise to the crop. The people who are good at what we do, as far as marketing goes, will be successful. And a lot of the other people who are, I'll use the term lazy, the lazy people who just kind of spam their own timeline and go into groups and do a lot of stuff that probably annoys you. I know it annoys me. Will go away. They'll go away because they're not adapting, and they know how to do one thing and they don't want to learn anything new, and they're just going to say this doesn't work anymore. And eventually, if they keep doing what they're doing, and what they're doing doesn't work anyway, but if they keep doing what they're doing, Facebook is going to say, hey, you're suspended, or we're going to pull the plug on your account. And they have every right to do that. They have every right to do that, and you have nowhere to complain. Good luck. They can change their terms of service tomorrow. So, the other thing I have really suggested that you do is email marketing. And we haven't rolled this email marketing system out, across the entire network, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay? If you're interested in learning how to build an email list, which is something that people can't take away from you, at least under the current way things work. An email list, once you have an email list, you've got something you can really work with. Go to FCN, as in Fit Club Network, FCNmarketing.com, which is a page on our FCN Coach Training website. And in there, you'll see a little email marketing tutorial. I will walk you through it top to bottom. Top to bottom. There's a 7-day meal plan there. I will tell you right now, don't copy what I've put in there. It's a template to use. It is not to be copied. If you copy it, eventually enough people copy it, and everybody's just going to get caught in spam filters. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. If you want to build a big business, you cannot be lazy, okay? I suggest you go and you start building something other than Facebook. And I suggest it's something you control. Having a big YouTube presence is great, but if YouTube decides, hey, you know what? People are selling stuff on YouTube and we're not making any money from it. So now we're going to require, I don't know what. If you've ever tried to post a video, like you'll sometimes see my surfing videos and they have music over them, I have to run ads that I don't control. I've seen like Herbalife ads running over my surfing videos because I'm using somebody else's music, and Facebook says, or YouTube says, we're not going to let you do that without agreeing that we get to run ads on your video. That used to be the case, and it is now. All this stuff changes. Hold on, everybody. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I do actually have other stuff to do. But let me know when you're back in town. And I can, if she's back, I'll just, go meet you somewhere and throw it in the back of my Jeep. Cool. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Right on. Thanks, bro. Bye. Sorry. Monica's Christmas present. Okay. Where was I? Building an email list. Yeah, go and build an email list, please. Go and build something that's not on somebody else's land. That's kind of the analogy that a lot of people use when we try to caution people against putting all your eggs in one basket is you're just building a house on somebody else's land. And at any point they can come in and say, hey, that's a cool house. I'll take that, thanks. I know it's easy. I know it's easy. But I really want to encourage you to diversify into other social networks and also to dig in with this email marketing thing. Using Facebook for commerce is going away. It's going the way of TweetAdder. And hopefully you guys can recognize that and see that's what's going on and see that it's just them enforcing their terms of service and that you've got to change. And I give you the TweetAdder analogy. Believe me, the TweetAdder story is one of many. Things have changed over time. Several years ago, Facebookers really got aggressive with the way they treated like pages. And it was crazy what was going on. And I said, okay, we got to go do something else. And we tried Google+. Some of you guys followed me on the Google+ adventure. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It's okay. Some of you are really active on Google+. Good. Good for you. Good job. But, go diversify, build your house on land that you own, and you can own an email list. Go to fcnmarketing.com, click on the email marketing thing, go through the tutorial. Once you've finished, whether you put into play my 7-day meal plan or you come up with your own thing, which is what I really want you to do, either way, once you're done with it, send me a link to where I can go and opt into your email list and start receiving your emails. And I'll do two things. The first one is I'll give you feedback. The second one is I will add you to a marketing mastermind group that we have for people who are building an email list. Okay? So if you want to get into the marketing mastermind group, you go create an email process and do what I said, create a lead page. Wherever you go do that, I don't care. You can follow my system or you can create your own thing. Don't copy what I put up there. But again, get it up and running, and I'll add you to that group and start to give you some feedback on it and start to help you grow. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook and what's going on. If you've seen, if you're watching this, you've probably already read what I've posted in the Fit Club Network coaches group about what Facebook is currently targeting and how to avoid getting into jail now. That doesn't mean in the future they won't change. The big things appear to be, first, how many groups are you a member of? So I went through and I removed myself from a ton of groups that I've been added to. Some of them are, probably some of you have seen, maybe you didn't notice that I left your group, but I've left your group. A lot of people on our team, when they started their challenge groups or their support groups, they added me so that I could kind of watch what was going on and give them some feedback. And I just never left those groups. I have now left those groups, so that's why. Hopefully you're not offended by that, but I don't want to end up in Facebook jail where I can't participate anyway, and most of those groups I haven't participated in. I just kind of sat on the sidelines and watched. So that's the first thing. Left a lot of groups. And some other groups that I'm in that I'm just, why am I even a member of this group? I don't even know. Probably because somebody added me, which is another thing that's a problem. So, and I'll get to that last. So the first thing is how many groups. So go through, trim out groups. If you're a member of groups that you don't participate in, get out of them. They're hurting you. Could potentially hurt you. Second thing is, how many groups are you an admin of? If you're an admin of a group, of too many groups, they're going to get you. So what I did yesterday was to go through, or the day before yesterday, was to go through, get myself out of a lot of groups that I was in, and then look at what groups am I an admin of, and which groups can I leave. You can't delete a group. At least if you can, somebody tell me how to do it. I don't think you can delete a group. I think you can just leave a group. The last person leaves the group automatically closes. But people are not, you've got people in groups and they're just not going to leave them. So what I did was I went into those groups where I was an admin and I left them a little message. I said, look, Facebook is concerned that I'm a member of too many groups and an admin of too many groups, so I'm leaving this group. What happens if you're the admin and you leave a group is there's a notice that goes out to the other members of the group and they are asked if they want to be the admin. So I didn't want to confuse people, by leaving and then they get this message about, do you want to be an admin? I just wanted to tell them. So I left them just a short message saying, hey, you can always reach me at my email address. I'm totally here for you. It's just Facebook doesn't want me I'm a member of too many groups and I gotta leave this one. So I went and did that. And so now I'm an admin of about 15 groups. I've got a couple that I'm probably gonna, remove myself as an admin, maybe not leave the group, but just not be an admin of those groups, because I think that's something that they're targeting. So how many groups are you an admin of? Limit those two things. Third one is using something like Hootsuite to automatically post in your groups. I don't see this as a big red flag if you're doing it into one or two groups. So like I have a Coach Basics group that's going on right now. I'm using Hootsuite to continue to post in that group. That may become problematic, I don't know. But I didn't get put in Facebook jail. So if I had, where I think they are really targeting people, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't get put in Facebook jail, and I don't know how I missed the being triangulated into this one, but it's using Hootsuite to post across the same content across multiple groups. And I have done that a lot. And so I'm kind of surprised that I didn't get put into Facebook jail. But I have, I've done that a lot where I'll say, Insanity Max 30 comes out and I put together a blog post for it. And then I put that blog post into Hootsuite, crank it out to all my groups. I don't know why they didn't nail me. I guess because I'm somewhere, I just don't meet some of the other criteria. That I'm stopping. Okay, that I'm stopping. I'm not going to do that anymore. That appears to be a big hot button issue for them, and you can see why. I mean, people have violated the terms of service and continue to do so, and they've had enough of it, and that's a big one for them. And so stop that. I would also suggest that you don't use Hootsuite if you can avoid it. Use it for only certain things and in only certain groups. I think the other thing about the Coach Basics group that I'm currently running, that those posts are going into, is that those are all people who I at least hope are not going to complain. Okay, so if you're posting into a bunch of customer groups, it doesn't take much to piss somebody off and have them report you. That's going to produce a huge red flag. And I also believe that the people who were targeted by this latest, mass Facebook jailing of people have been reported a bunch of times, and they just, you get reported a bunch of times for spam. Yeah, you're on their radar. Great. I don't think you want to be on Facebook's radar, so I think you need to be really careful how you handle groups and posting in groups. The last thing is the way people join groups. I think this is kind of an interesting one, and I think it's maybe a reason that I didn't get nailed, is that typically, not always, but typically, I have people join my groups by giving them a link. And I say, here's a link to the group. You submit a join request, I'll approve you. That's an opt-in, right? It's just like an email list. It's an opt-in. You're saying, I agree to be a part of this group. If I just add you to that group, Facebook doesn't have that assurance that the person really wants to be in the group and they really want to see the automated post from Hootsuite selling them recovery formula or E&E or whatever. If they join the group, then that dynamic changes. So even if you're friends with people, the only time I add people to groups generally is I add my coaches to the coaches group, and I add people to a mastermind group. There's a little bit of it, I guess, is okay. I don't know. I mean, we're looking at things that seem to trigger Facebook's little jail provisions. Those are the big ones. How many groups are you a member of? How many groups are you an admin of? How you post content, and the content you post also, I think, is not, it's not just how, it's not, if it's not coming from Hootsuite, but it's something that is objectionable and therefore people report you, you expect to be put in Facebook jail. Okay? And then finally, how people join your groups. Getting that opt-in from people is important. And I know it's easy to say, you have a conversation with one of your friends, do you want to be a member of this group? And they say yes, and then they get their product, and then boom, you add them to the group. I think Facebook is just looking at that going, we don't have any assurance that these people want to be a member of these groups. And I think that on a broader scale, people have really abused that one too. I know I get added to groups all the time, and I go, what the hell is this? I don't even know what this is. I would suspect, by the way, just so you have a little bit of foreshadowing, events are next. I get invited to a ridiculous amount of events. If you're mass inviting everybody on your friends list to an event, and that event is buy Insanity Max 30, I think you can expect to be put in Facebook jail for that. That's a violation of Facebook's terms of service, and it's one that I'm surprised they haven't cracked down on already. Because I get all these invites, and a lot of them are from you guys. And I don't report you, by the way. It's not me. But I can't imagine that they go unreported. I think you want to be careful with that. Okay, that's the next thing that I can see that is pretty objectionable and is definitely a violation of their terms of service. Now, a lot of you guys are doing invites to stuff that's like, a little more, not as direct, right? Join my, a free 5-day meal plan, whatever. But everybody knows that you're inviting to the free 5-day meal plan so that you can end up offering Shakeology. Everybody knows that. Facebook knows it. This is a lot of what other companies are doing. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in this recording or not, but Beachbody is not exclusively being targeted. That's not what's happening here. This is like industry-wide. They're really clearly saying, network marketers, and small business owners, not just network marketers, but small business people, internet marketers, affiliates, people trying to sell books, whatever it is, we recognize what you're doing, and we've just kind of had enough of it, so stop. So I think you need to make some changes if you're doing some of those things that I talked about. If you're not, then it's no big deal. I was talking to Bob Taylor before I filmed this, and Bob's like, I don't do any of that stuff, so I'm not worried about it. And I said, good, you shouldn't be. And I think that on our team, this isn't a big problem. I was in a big hurry to film this call, and Monica was kind of like, I don't know that this is a big issue. And so I don't think it is either. I do think we need to recognize a couple things, and the wake-up call, and I'll wrap it with this. The wake-up call is the story of TweetAdder. It's that things can and will change, and you put stuff in place and you do what works as long as it works, and sometimes the stuff we do is technically a violation that isn't enforced. You just have to expect that at some point they're going to start enforcing their rules. And Facebook at this point is big enough to start being a bully, and well, start being a bully to continue to be a bully. And that's just how it is. You know, your option is not to use Facebook, or just, you know, make sure you're within the guidelines of their terms of service, or get put in jail and then change. I don't think they're going to start, you know, pulling people's accounts, but if you get put in Facebook jail a couple of times, I'd be really concerned. There's a way you can download all of the pictures and everything that you've uploaded to Facebook. I would probably recommend you do that, because they are going to start pulling the plug on people eventually. I know it. I mean, it's coming. You know, so for those people who, you know, exclusively build on Facebook and they do it in a way that's super aggressive, and they're getting reported a lot, and they're also doing all this other stuff with groups and events and everything else. And I'm not on the events thing. I don't know this. This is just my intuition telling me events are next. For those people who are doing a lot of that stuff, you're violating their terms of service, and they're going to enforce them. That's all I can really tell you. Things are changing. Things change. You know, for those of you guys who came to the Diamond Retreat and you saw me present the email marketing system, the first thing I told you was things change. We do what works now, and we hope it works as long as it can, and we don't intentionally violate terms of service, but you have to expect sometimes that things are going to change, because terms of service change too. There's stuff we've done in the past that was okay, and then the terms of service changes. Not okay anymore. You got to adapt. You got to overcome, or quit. You know, but you can't be lazy with this stuff. And I think that's, you know, really kind of the big message is, you know, be proactive with your business, and protect it, and be smart with what you're doing. And if you do get caught in Facebook jail, and if you're seeing this message and you got swept up in this, and not very many people on our team did, really. I mean, it's kind of, the way people are panicking about this tells me that they're teaching their people to go out and violate the terms of service, and we're not doing that. So, you know, if you did get caught in this, go and trim out those groups, stop with Hootsuite, and be really mindful of the stuff you're posting and whether people would report you or not. Because I do think a lot of this is based on reporting that's happening from people, and you know, I can see it. Hey, listen, as a Facebook user, there's a lot of stuff I see that I just go, why would you post that? You know, but people do. I don't report you. Other people might be, and it could be why you've got a problem, or it could be a potential problem that's coming your way. So be mindful of all that. Be careful. Be smart. Go build a list. FCNmarketing.com. Email marketing. Again, once you have the system in place, I will work with you. Until you have the system in place, I can't. I can't be the answer department for all things email marketing. Google it. There's plenty of answers. That's where I learned how to do all this stuff. So there you go. That's it for now. I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas for those of you that are celebrating Christmas. And for all of you, have a Happy New Year. I will tell you that next week, my goal is to try and do part 2 of Jeff Walker's launch book. So a couple weeks ago, I did part 1, which is the pre-launch. The next step is going to be the pre-launch, and I will give that stuff to you next week. That's all focused on the release of the 21-day fix. Until then, have a great day.